Hi, I'm Mariana Wagner with the Artisan Group at Keller Williams Premier Realty. I'm also an instructor for NAR, the National Association of Realtors, and today I'm going to give you guys a quick overview to the Realtor Code of Ethics. I will dive into each article in separate videos, but for now I just want to kind of give you an overview. So just jumping right into it, the Code of Ethics is divided into three sections. One section is our duties to clients and customers. The second section is our duties to the public. And our third section is the duties to realtors. In all, there are 17 articles. And under each article, there are standards of practice, meaning they're different. They break it out so you can understand. It helps clarify what that article means. They're kind of like examples. So let's get into it. Article 1. Realtors protect and promote their clients' interests while treating all parties honestly. That means that, it's a very big umbrella article, but your job is to promote your client's best interest as a realtor. However, not at the risk of treating anybody dishonestly. You still have to be honest, but your duty is to promote the interests of your clients. Article 2, realtors refrain from exaggeration, misrepresentation, or concealment of pertinent facts related to property or transactions. This just means, you can't lie and you can't exaggerate. You can put things in the best light, like when you're marketing property, obviously, put it in the best light possible, but you cannot exaggerate to the point where it is clearly untrue. And you can't misrepresent who you are in the transaction or what's going on in the transaction. And you cannot conceal pertinent facts. So there is a level of duty that you have to your clients as far as keeping things confidential, but things that aren't confidential are things that could potentially harm another person. So even if your seller, let's say you have a seller client and they want, they know that the roof is leaking, they have to disclose that. And if they don't, you do. You can't just say, okay, never mind, we just won't tell anybody. You can't do that. Article 3, realtors cooperate with other real estate professionals to advance their client's best interest. That is why the majority of homes, when sold, have a buyer representative and a seller representative. We work with each other in the community, and it is our duty to work with each other in the community to try and help people buy, sell, rent out their properties, rent a property, and invest in real estate. The thing that people don't necessarily understand with this is it's as far as a realtor is concerned, there are restrictions on paying or compensating another realtor. And again, I'll go into that when I dive deep into Article 3. But our job is to cooperate. So if somebody wants to show the home according to how the seller wants it to be shown, you can't deny that. Article 4, when buying or selling on their own account for their families or firms, realtors make sure their true position or interest is known. Simply put, if I want to buy or sell a property, I have to let everyone know that I am a realtor looking to buy or sell a property. Article 5, realtors do not provide professional services where they have any present or contemplated interest in the property without disclosing that interest to all affected properties. So let's say I'm working with a client who's looking for a very unique investment property, and we come across a great investment property, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is also what I'm looking for as far as an investment property. I have to now disclose that to my client, and chances are they're not going to want me to represent them in making an offer because there's a conflict of interest there because I also am interested in that property. So in that situation, I would personally, as a realtor, I would refer that business out to another competent realtor to help them if we're going to be competing on that property. Article 6, realtors disclose any fee or financial benefit they may receive from recommending real estate related products or services. So if I'm going to recommend, let's say, a roofer, and I know that that roofer is going to give me a $100 Starbucks card for every person I refer, I need to disclose that to my client when I refer them, so they know that I'm benefiting from it, and they can make everyone's on the same page and they can make that decision whether or not they want to use that roofer, or if they think, wow, you're only recommending them because you're getting a Starbucks card. Now, $100 may only get me like a small coffee at Starbucks, but that's irrelevant. I'm benefiting somehow by recommending them. Now, in a lot of cases, I'm going to recommend them because they are the best roofer I know. However, and just incidentally, I may also have a benefit of getting that Starbucks card, but that's a conversation you have to have with your client. Article 7, realtors accept compensation from only one party, except where they make full disclosure to all parties and received informed consent from their client. As a realtor, there may be a situation where I am representing a seller in a situation and an investor that I work with that I'm not necessarily going to represent them. They'll represent themselves because they've bought and sold like hundreds of properties, but they said they'll give me a finder's fee if I happen to find a property that they buy. I have to disclose that to all people involved in the transaction, because my seller might think that I'm pushing this one investor because I'm benefiting financially from that decision. And so my seller has to give me informed consent that I can accept that second fee. Article 8, realtors keep the funds of clients and customers in separate escrow accounts. This is most important with property management because in property management, there are different accounts for like rents received, accounts payable, fees, the money, set aside for escrow or for repairs. There's different accounting for all of that. And it's really, really important that if you are going to be holding other people's money, that's not your personal money, that you are putting it and accounting for it in the separate accounts, and that you don't commingle the money. You don't put somebody's rent check in your personal account, etc. This is a legal issue as well. And if you have any questions about how money is being handled, you need to probably talk to an attorney or a tax accountant to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Article 9, realtors make sure that the details of agreements are spelled out in writing whenever possible, and the parties receive copies. It is so important for everything to be in writing because we will forget. We all know we can go into a meeting and we can hear the exact same meeting and come with two completely different interpretations of that meeting. That's why everything needs to be in writing. And as a realtor, what I think is really important is if you're going to have a phone conversation with somebody, I would put that phone conversation into an email and saying, hey, I'm just recapping what we talked about so we're all on the same page, and sending that email out. Now you have it in writing. So text messages are considered writing, emails are considered in writing. It just makes things much more clear, easier to reference if there's any questions or concerns in the future. Now we're moving on to the duties to the public. So the last 9 articles were our duties as realtors to our clients and customers in the transaction. Now we're talking about duties to the public, meaning these are our duties to any and everybody. And the first one, which is very important, it's Article 10. Article 10, realtors give equal professional service to all clients and customers, irrespective of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Realtors do not discriminate in their employment practices either. So fair housing is, through fair housing, we are not allowed to deny equal professional services based on a protected class. So I just listed some of the protected classes. In Colorado, there are additional protected classes. One, for example, is marital status. So familial status means that there is somebody who has or plans to have a human being in the property that is under the age of 18, whether it is a child or anybody under that age. You cannot discriminate based off of that. And in Colorado, you cannot discriminate additionally whether somebody is married or not married. So, and there are quite a few. I think there's 13 to 15 different protected classes depending on where in Colorado you are, because cities and counties can determine that there are other protected classes in addition to the ones dictated by the National Association of Realtors here. And again, nationally, no matter where you are, the protected classes are race, color, religion, sex, handicap, or disability, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. So those are our the protected classes that are in housing for all of realtors in the nation. Article 11, realtors are knowledgeable and competent in the fields of practice in which they engage, or they get assistance from a knowledgeable professional or disclose any lack of expertise to their client. So Derek and I, we work in residential real estate sales. That's our expertise. If one of our clients wanted to purchase a business or wanted to purchase a commercial building, that's outside of our expertise. And so it's not fair to just represent our client in that purchase if we are not an expert in that area. So our choices are we can refer them to someone who is an expert, or we can do the deal, but also bring in an expert, work with somebody who is a commercial or a business expert in that. We just can't wing it just because we want to. We have to remain competent in the fields that we work. Article 12, realtors are honest and truthful in their communications and present a true picture in their advertising, marketing, and other public representations. This is our advertising article, meaning that whatever you're putting out there in advertising has to be truthful. And there are some requirements. When we dig deep into this one, you'll see that there are a lot of requirements that realtors must have when it comes to advertising. And sometimes our clients are like, well, why can't you say this or this? Well, mostly because we're not allowed to. So we have to be very careful in how we're advertising and make sure that we're dotting all our I's and crossing all of our T's. So that's Article 12. Article 13, realtors do not engage in the unauthorized practice of law. We are not allowed to advise on how to break an agreement with another realtor. We're not allowed to even hint at that. When it comes to things that are even like contract law, licensing law, tax law, water law, anything that has a legal precedent at all, our job is to recommend that they speak to a real estate attorney or a tax attorney or some kind of an attorney. And so it's always good to have a list of attorneys that you can recommend in those situations, because not only is the unauthorized practice of law an ethical violation, there are legal consequences to offering legal advice when you are not an attorney. Article 14, and this is the last article within the duties to the public. Article 14, realtors willingly participate in ethics investigations and enforcement actions, meaning that if you are a realtor and somebody files an ethics complaint against you or needs you in as a witness or whatnot, in an ethics complaint, it is your duty to do so. I think of it like jury duty. It is our duty. And honestly, I think that it's a great opportunity to participate in the system. Now, if you are the complainant or you are, it's not called the defendant, but that's how a lot of the public will see it. Like, the person who had the ethics complaint filed against, they have to participate as well. You can't just opt out of that. All right, now duties to realtors. Before I jump into this, I need you guys to understand something. This is a realtor code of ethics. What happens here in the code of ethics, these are code of ethics that realtors are bound by. So if you are a member of the National Association of Realtor, Colorado Association of Realtor, your state association, and your local association, you're bound by this. If you are not a member of those associations, you are not bound by this. Therefore, you cannot, let's say I'm a realtor and I have an ethical complaint against this other real estate agent, but that other real estate agent is not a member of the Realtor Association, none of this is enforceable. On the other side of that, this is about being a realtor. And being a realtor means that you're held to a very high standard in the real estate world, which is why we have these code of ethics. And what's very important to understand about that is that we can't, if you violate something ethically as a realtor, we can't take your license from you. This is not license law. This is not contract law. This is ethics. So there are some harsh reprimands for violating the ethics as a realtor, absolutely, but your license will never be taken away from you. The way, you doing business, we're not going to take away your livelihood just because you violated ethics. However, we can take away your membership, and taking away the membership can have some pretty hefty repercussions, especially if you live in an area where your membership is tied to your ability to use the multiple listing services. So it's something, of course, we will dive into this more in another video, but just to keep that in mind, that this is not for all real estate agents. It only applies to people who are realtors, which is the majority of real estate agents in America for sure. But I just wanted to make that clarification before we move on. So duties to realtors. Article 15 states that realtors make only truthful, not misleading comments about other real estate professionals. We are not allowed to badmouth other agents, whether they're realtors or not. Our job is not to, throw our opinions out about other realtors. We can talk about what we know to be true if it was a fact and action that happened, but no opinions. We're not allowed to talk bad about another agent, about their business practice, whether or not you agree with it, etc. Can't do it. Article 16, realtors respect the exclusive representation or exclusive brokerage relationship agreements that other realtors have with their clients. This means no sign crossing, and what that means is if there is a person who's already in a relationship, professional relationship with another real estate agent, helping them buy, sell, rent, lease, invest, etc., you are not allowed as a realtor to pursue them, to offer them those same services. That is, you can't do that. You cannot go after other people's clients. That is not what you can do in any situation. And then finally, Article 17, realtors arbitrate and mediate financial disagreements with other realtors and with their clients. So if there is a financial disagreement, whether, who gets paid, if it has anything to do with money, we agree to arbitrate or mediate those because, first of all, it's way less expensive than litigation in the court system. And second of all, you have a body of other professional realtors working with this. And so, people who understand and know, contracts and agreements and all of those. And so what it does is it kind of takes the burden of having to go to court and having it drag on forever and be very expensive. This is a relatively short, it happens very quickly. Most of the time it happens very quickly. It is much less expensive than going to court. And so that is in Article 17, that's what we're agreeing to, is that we're going to take it down that path before even going through any type of litigation. If you have any questions or you want to know more about any of these articles, or you have questions about maybe something that's gone on in your professional career, or if you are a consumer and you're like, hey, what about this or what about that? I would be happy to answer your questions. Please like and subscribe to this video. You can leave any comments that you want, or I have my contact information also on this page. You feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and have a great day.